Hi everyone, it's Marianne at Sew Right Sewing Machines. I'd like to show you the new Yaya Han Edition. It's the Bernette 79 model. It's a sewing and embroidery machine. So what I'm going to do is I want you to see the unveiling of the machine. So I'm going to unbox it in front of you. So here, I'm going to open this up. How exciting is this? Love new machines. We have software that's going to come with the machine. And we have all sorts of accessories in here. We have our knee lever. These are embroidery hoops. There's 3 of them. Those there. We have power cord. Accessories, another bobbin case, got another stitch plate, a straight stitch plate, a press-a-foot set, collection of different feet, a pamphlet, and I'm going to come back to this. Curious as to what that is. Okay, I'll come back to it. Oh, there we oh, that's why. See, isn't it good that I'm unwrapping this in front of you so that when you unwrap yours, you're gonna know. Look what Marian did. This is actually the arm for the embroidery module. Everything is in white and lavender. Oh, is this great? Lavender is such a beautiful color. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. Put this up here. Boy, you know what? I'm gonna move this over for a moment because I want to put the machine up there first. Here we go. Take the plastic off. And I'm gonna lift. So you're seeing the front of her before me. Oh, is she pretty? Okay. In here, I have the foot pedal. Over here, this is just a brace for the shipping. In here, I have the dust cover, or for traveling, the cover. And an extension table that's going to go on here to extend your work surface. So, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. But I want to turn her on. Okay, so now I've taken her out, got her all plugged in with the foot pedal and the power cord, ready to turn her on. There she is. She's coming. Okay. Just always be patient. She's got a lot of info in there. And while this is turning on, I'm going to make a note here. This little tab, you can pull this off and it will expose the actual screen. For now, I'm just going to leave that on there. I know some people that leave it on there forever. So here's Yaya Han. Okay. We're going to thread her up. And this piece was the sample that was here when we took it out of the box. And I'm just going to put this to the side. I'm going to cut this and put that to the side. I'm going to pull out the thread that was there from the test. And let's open up the top. Oh my gosh, look at this. Is that cute or what? What a surprise. It's like a present. I love it. What a beautiful butterfly. So, all right. So now I'm going to thread the machine. I'm not going to wind a bobbin at this time. There's already one in the machine when you get it out of the box, but let's see it sew. So I'm going to place this on here, and I do need a spool cap. So I'm going to go into the pouch of accessories that came with it. And we got a lot of stuff in here. I'm going to open this up. Come on. And you really, for any sewing machine, you should use the right size cap. And the one I need, sure, it's at the bottom of the bag. Okay. This is a small spool in diameter, so you use a small cap to hold. Now I'm going to thread the machine. So I'm just going to follow the arrows. And on a lot of machines, when you see a dotted line, it's the diagram for winding the bobbin. But right now I'm just threading the machine, so I'm following the solid line. And I'm going to come back up here to the take-up lever, come down, and I'm going to go behind the guide right above the needle. And then I'm going to use a needle threader. Oh, goodness, on the screen, let's do this first. I'm going to touch English, because then I can do other things. So I'm going to touch English, and we're there. When on machines that have needle threaders, you always want to make sure that the needle is at the right height. So before you start turning the hand wheels, just do this. Touch your needle down and needle up. And she's so quiet. Okay, now I'm going to use the needle threader. And Bernette has a wonderful feature on this machine that I think is the greatest. When you thread the top of the machine, your presser foot is always in the up position. But when you go to use the needle threader, watch this, I'm pulling down the thread and the foot goes down by itself. Love that feature. So now I'm going to use here, and I'm going to go here, and it's going to pull the thread through the eye of the needle. Oh, this is great, needle threaders. So now I'm ready to sew. You don't have to use a presser foot lift to raise and lower the foot. It's so convenient to just have the button right here. Go up and down. So now I'm ready to sew. So now I'm going to just take my 2 pieces of fabric, put them under the foot, and I put the foot down, and I'm going to start to sew. Oh, I forgot to plug in my foot pedal. How many of you done that? But you know what? I can let it sew by itself. And when I'm going to do that, I'm going to make sure I'm going to set my speed control so that it's not going to run away on me. I'm going to put it at a fairly low speed. And then when I touch this, it's going to sew by itself. And I'm going to touch the same button to stop it. Otherwise, I'm now going to plug in my foot pedal. So I'm going to just put this in the side here, right there. Put my pedal on the floor. And I'm ready to sew again. Oh, is she quiet? Love it. And then when you want to stop with your needle down, you just touch the button. And we're going to, oh, I keep forgetting I don't have a lever. I'm going to raise the foot. So now I can turn. But now, I did put the needle down by touching the button, but I always want it to stop down. So what I'm going to do is right here on the screen, I'm going to touch that needle down feature right there. And when I stop sewing, the needle is going to stop down. And then I can raise the foot and do a little pivot and start to sew again. Those of you that love to applique, this is a must. Love it. And here's my little cutter, and I'm going to cut the thread and trim the thread and raise the foot. And there's my beautiful stitching. I love you. You are so beautiful. Not only are you pretty, you're so beautiful. So now I want to show everyone what else you have. You have embroidery. But let me just get these things out of the way. Okay, before I put on the embroidery module to show you the embroidery feature, I want to point out something else. This piece also comes with the machine, and it's an extension table, and it's got legs. So these pop up, and there's 4 of them. Now what you're going to do is, and I'm going to explain to you why you're going to use it, but let me first show you how it goes on the machine. I'm going to take off the accessory tray. I'm going to put this on the side. And then we're going to bring this in. It extends your surface. When you're working on projects, especially with just the tray on, things have a tendency to drag. They actually, especially if they're bulky or there's a lot of pieces to it, it's going to pull. It's not going to move in nice and smoothly. So when you have an extended work surface, which is the extension table, things are going to be able to stay level easier. You're going to be able to feed it in better. So that is the advantage of having an extension table. So that's with the machine. So now we're going to get ready to go to embroidery. It has another wonderful feature, which is the dual feed. So there's going to be feet that work with the machine that have this opening in the back of the foot, where when you pull this lever down that's in the back of the machine, it will work. It'll be in here, and then it works together, which is like having a walking foot. So I'm just going to snap this foot back on, and then when you want to use dual feed, you bring this down. Now it is like a walking foot. Let me explain why, if those of you that don't know about what a walking foot really is for, and you've all experienced it as long as you've done sewing. You have 2 layers of fabric together. You get everything lined up just right, that everything's lined up. You sew to one end, and you're going to end up finding one fabric is ahead of the other. This is common. What happens is the presser foot is pushing down here, and underneath the feed dogs are pulling the bottom layer. So you get what's called an uneven feed. But when you have the dual feed system, it has teeth in it. So now as the feed dogs are pulling the fabric through, the finger from up on top that's in the back of the foot, it's pulling with the feed dogs, so you have even feed. So all those slippery fabrics that slide and don't move together evenly like they should, that's going to help you solve that problem. So that's why this feature is so wonderful. And when you sew with it, I'm going to put the foot down, and I'm going to just let it sew by itself. So I'm going to push on the start and stop button. So you see how the piece in the back is working. I'm going to get my needle up, raise my foot. So you have even feed. So your layers are going to move together nicely. They're not one won't be ahead of the other. Okay, so now we're going to be ready to embroider. So I'm going to be attaching the embroidery module. But before I do, it's easier if you change the foot to the embroidery foot. So I'm going to be putting the embroidery foot on the machine before I attach the unit. It just makes it a little bit easier, because once you attach the module, the arm that holds the embroidery hoop, this sometimes is in the way when you're trying to get your hand in here to put on the foot. So I always find it easier to put the foot on first, then attach the module. So I'm going to take this foot off, and you have to disengage the dual feed that's in the back. So as you push down and pull back, it just releases. Now I'm going to take off the whole ankle, not just the foot itself. So I took off the whole piece. This is an ankle, this is a foot. So I'm just going to put this aside. I'm going to put this one on. This is where the shaft that holds the ankle is going to go in. This is going to go up in here, but also this bar has to go above the needle, this bar. This is here where you change your needles with that screw. Well, this bar is going to go on top of that. So I'm going to bring this from the back forward, and then I just raise it up into position, and then I'm going to tighten that screw. If you notice my left hand that's using the screwdriver, I'm able to maneuver this so easily because I don't have the module on yet. Makes it so much easier. All right, now, when you are attaching a module, you should have the machine turned off. So I'm going to turn the machine off, and then if you notice, I don't have the accessory tray on, and I'm going to put the module on. So as I start to move this into position, this piece here is going to go inside there, and this door is flaps. You don't have to worry about opening it, because as you push this in, it's going to just push this down and connect. So you're just going to slide this all the way in and get it totally pushed in. You're going to hear a click. So now the module is attached. Now I'm ready to turn on the machine. There's going to be some information on the screen telling me other things I should do. One is to put in the extra bobbin case that came with the machine that's designed for embroidery. Has a different tension system in it, so it changes the way the thread is pulled for embroidery. So I'm going to get that message in just a moment. And then there is a diagram that lets you know that you are picking the correct one, because the bobbin case that it told me to put in has a little red marker right there. So when I come here to the screen and it says do not pull down the dual feed piece, and I'm going to go to the next page, there it is. This is showing me to put the new bobbin case in, or the alternate bobbin case, and there's that little red marker letting me know that that is the correct bobbin case. So now I've already done that prior to showing you this part, but I'm going to go to the next page, and then it's telling me to put on the embroidery arm module. Now, next page, come. There we go. And this is called calibrating. It moves it into position to get it ready. When this is moving, this is especially for those of you that have never done embroidery before. When this is moving and the embroidery hoop is in here, which you'll see in a little bit, as these things are moving doing the embroidery, this is going to move left and right and front to back, and so is the hoop. There should be nothing in its way. You don't want this in the back bumping something as it continues to embroider. Things wouldn't line up. But now we're ready to pick a design. And I've put in lavender thread to match lavender, the machine. So now I'm going to pick a design. So we have letters, but I'm going to just go down here to show you something. I'm going to pick that menu. And in here are 3 menus of other designs. So if I touch this menu, come here, then it opens up to the designs that are in that menu. Then all I have to do is pick another design, and now it's loading it onto the edit screen. This is where I can do things. Maybe I want to put some lettering with it. So let me do that while you're watching. I'm going to go to the plus sign. I want to add. Come to the plus, come here. And then I'm going to go back to the folder here, and here's letters. So I'm going to pick script. And then you would type in what you want. I'm just going to type in sewing. E W I G. Now that I've got sewing here, I would confirm. And there it is on my screen. And right now what I can do is I can take one of the designs and I can move it. And you'll notice that I'm having trouble grabbing sewing because the other design is so big. So I can come over here to sewing, and then if I go to touch this, there's a chance that this is going to get selected. So I'm going to use my stitch width and my stitch length knobs to move the design away from the other one. And I can move it up, and my width knob moves it left and right. But now I would have it up there. But I want to get the other design back into the main part of the screen, so I'm going to use my stitch width to bring it over. So there we are. So now I would be able to embroider this. But just to save time, I'm going to just do the sewing, the word sewing. I'm going to embroider that. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to come into my eye, and we have a little trash can. So whatever is highlighted over here is what's going to go away. And there it's confirming. This is the one that you're going to get rid of, and confirm. I just wanted you to see how you can combine things and put them onto the screen. I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to check that it knows which hoop I want to use. So I'm going to come into the hoop selection, and over here are the hoops. And I am going to use the large hoop. And the large hoop is 6 inches by 10 inches. This is great because there's some machines that only do 4x4, and oh my goodness, you're going to outgrow that so fast. So now we're going to be ready to embroider. So I'm going to close this part of the screen, and I close this part. And because this is a pencil, it means I'm in the edit screen, but down here is a needle. So when I touch the needle, I'm going into the embroidery mode. It's telling me that this arm of the module is going to move with those arrows. So I'm going to confirm, and it just moved it. And now it's telling me to attach my hoop. So here, I'm going to go get my hoop that I have my fabric. And pink and purple, I think it's so pretty together. So I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to slide my hoop into the module over here. I'm going to slide it in, and it locks. This here would release it, but I'm going to keep that locked in there. I'm going to move this over, and we're ready to embroider. So now I have a check mark that I'm going to confirm, and I'm going to go to the next screen. And it shows here the letter S is going to be the first thing it's going to stitch. I wanted to do the whole name, the whole word, so I'm just going to touch this symbol right here, which is turning it from stopping for each color, and it can go on to all the other colors without stopping, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to put the presser foot down, and ready to go. Here we go. Okay, wait, let's one more time. And it stops, because if there's a tail, especially if it's a long tail of thread, this is very short. I'm going to leave it for now, but it's giving me the option right now to trim my tail. And I'm going to go to the next here, and we're ready to go. Just hold in the button until it starts. Let it go. This is embroidery. This is exciting. No matter how long you've embroidered, even myself, I'm embroidering now over 25 years. It still amazes me on the accuracy of where the needle goes to stitch. And there'll be designs that you'll do that have shading, and the shading that is created is, when the designs that are in the machine especially, they have shading, so it's layers of different colors. And the shading is unbelievable, how the accuracy is so perfect. Embroidery is exciting. Think of all the gifts that you could give. And some people will say to me, oh, I don't have little children anymore. I don't need embroidery. And not to be mean, but forget the little children. We can embroider for ourselves. Many years ago, I embroidered an outfit where I had roses on this side of my blouse, and then I embroidered roses down my leg. It was a beautiful evening outfit. So think of embroidery also for yourself, not for little children. I love little children. I got 4 grandchildren. But we embroider for ourselves. So now it's going to get ready, and it's going to go. And there it goes. Because I told it on the screen to do the whole thing without stopping, it already went to the next letters, and it will continue doing sewing, the whole sewing. If I had left the other design on the screen, it would have prompted me and told me what color to put in, because over here it would be how many stitches it's got, but it would be how many colors, and it would say color 1 of 2 or color 1 of 6 maybe. And then as it finishes one color, it would say 2 of 6 and 3 of 6. So you know when to change threads. All you got to do is rethread the top of your machine, because your bobbin stays the same. You don't have to worry about doing anything with your bobbin unless it runs out, which it goes a long way before it runs out. So I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Yaya Han Edition from the Bernette, and it's the model the B79. And this is exciting. And I want to also tell you, there's going to be times that you're not going to want to take this off, and you're going to need to sew. You can leave this on and go into the sewing mode, which is great. So then you still have a nice large surface to work with, but you don't have to detach this to do sewing, regular sewing. And that will come in handy. So I hope you have enjoyed it. We need you, we want you to come to the store and see the machine. And you'll get to try it. And you'll be able to embroider a little bit to get the experience, especially those of you that have not done embroidery. This is a introduction machine at a very affordable price. It's going to give you so much capability between the sewing and the embroidery. Great introductory machine. So come in. Let us show you the machine. Anyone here can help you. We want you to come in and have a good time. Bye.